Hi there, AJ here. Thank you very much for watching for this video. My first video ever on YouTube for this channel. The purpose or the intention is to do that every week and to discuss a different topic every week that helps you grow as a coach. For this week, we will discuss a topic that's called how to develop as the coaching entrepreneur. As you know, we do a lot as coaches, just like me. I did it for years just to invest in yourself to become a better coach. But I found out that develop, at least to a certain extent, as a coaching entrepreneur is key to make your whole coaching practice successful. You both have to develop both as an entrepreneur as a coach. And if those two roles work together, then your practice will be much more successful and your income too. So that's the idea behind these things for today. If you want to have the PDF that I've made for this week, let me know. You can send me an email on topmind.com, or you can just reply with the email. If this reaches you with an email, reply to say 7 steps. If you say 7 steps, then I will send you the PDF that will help you to integrate the subject for today. So that's for now. If you want to have that, if for those who don't know me, my name is Anne Johan Willemsen, or AJ, and I'm an executive coach for more than 16 years. And for a couple of months, I also help coaches like you to grow. With all the things that I learned over the past years, I help coaches to grow with all possible ways: technology, online training, these kind of videos, a book that I've just written and that has been published, From Poor Coach to Rich Coach, and many other things. I do everything I can to help you grow, like I did myself for the past 7 years, to help me grow. So that's the purpose for today. Right, where we are going to talk about today is the topic how to develop as the coaching entrepreneur. And we will help use a model that I call the 7P pyramid that I describe in my book. And I will run you through this pyramid. You can see this as a roadmap that helps you follow step by step to implement very practically what you can do and improve your business. The big thing, the big idea behind the book, behind all my films, behind all the coaching sessions that I do with coaches is how can you grow as a coaching business? But more importantly, how can you do more with less? We are trapped in what we call the time trap. With most coaches who work one-on-one, time is very limited. So you can help your coaches grow, your coaching business grow by scaling it to do more with less. And that's the idea behind the book. That's the idea behind the video for today as well. And we use 3 different strategies to get there. How can you grow your business? How can you scale your coaching business? And that's in 3 ways. One way is to have an operating system that runs the business for you. I will tell you a little bit about that later. Secondly, how can you create a recurring coaching income instead of a very volatile one? Yeah, just a recurring monthly coaching income. And how can you help your clients grow and measure the coaching effect? So measure the effectiveness of your coaching with your clients. These are the 3 things. So the first thing is a system that runs the business for you. And I will go into more specifics today, but the idea here is that we are running everything in most cases. We do the coaching, we do the invoicing, we do the commercial process, we do the GDPR, we do the notes, we do everything, we store the notes, and it's a big complex business, although we don't think it is. But we have to think about a lot of different elements, and it's much easier to have a system that runs the business for you. I developed a technological platform that does it for me, but you can also choose to have a virtual assistant doing that for you, although that might be pretty expensive. So that's the first strategy. The second strategy is how can you create a monthly recurring revenue or income as a coach. The problem with coaches, like it was for the first 8 years with me, was that I had a very volatile income. You know, when I had clients, I agreed on a program for a certain amount, And then the program was over and I had to start over again. And that causes a lot of volatility in my income stream. I changed it, and I will tell you a little bit more about this, and you can find in the PDF for this week as well. I solved this problem and that realized a much more stable income per month. So there's always a little bit of volatility, but I can at least count on a minimum level of income, which makes my work as a coach so much easier and so much more fun with less stress and no money stress. Put money off your mind. That's the thing we all want. So that's strategy number 1. Strategy number 3 is really measure growth and create lasting growth. That's the other strategy that will make yourself as a coaching entrepreneur so much more successful. Then just have your client be satisfied. Make sure that it's not just satisfied and happy client, but also make sure that almost as objective as you can monitor the progress over time. Because if you monitor progress and your client is convinced about the progress, and not only your client, also you and the sponsor of your client, then the chance for doing that a little longer is much more to be expected. You can expect your client to stay a little longer. As long as people grow, they don't want to leave. That's my experience. So that's the third strategy that I think ethically is possible. Of course, you don't want to keep your clients as long as you can. That's not the objective in itself. But as long as people grow and you can really monitor objective growth over time, it's like an athlete getting better and better. It is very valid and very, I would say, ethical to make the coaching relationship a little longer. Or maybe they leave, but they will come back later, and that's fine too. Great. All right. So for today, we are going to talk about the model that I described in the book, and I call the model the 7P pyramid. This pyramid is kind of a roadmap, kind of a stepping plan with 7 steps, all starting with a P that will help you grow your coaching business and make your business much healthier, and not just grow it, but also give yourself a much more sense of freedom and give yourself as a coach so much more meaning, as I have noticed and experienced myself, and also have a much better income, which is attractive, especially in these days when so many coaches struggle with their income, although they do very good work. And that is not the purpose of the whole thing. If you really add value, you can also expect to make a good, honest income. I'm not ashamed for that. So if you do good work, you deserve to make a good income as well. So freedom, money, and meaning, these are the 3 things that you deserve and that you can build and that you can grow. And today we'll talk about the 7 steps that you can do so. All right, let's go to the 7 steps, and you will find that in the PDF that you have received. It is a shape of a pyramid. So I try to draw as neat as I can. It's a pyramid. And why is it a pyramid? Because there's a sequence in the different steps. You cannot start at the top. You have to start at the bottom. So there are 7 levels, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Level number 1 is the level what we call with the P of position. Position means what is the client that you match the best with? What is your best ideal dream client? How do you position yourself to this person? And for this, you first have to find out who is it. It's not a niche in the sense of attractive niche because you can make a lot of money with it, or it is forgotten by anybody else. No, it's the niche that exists because it is the niche that you are best in. I have a certain type of clients. You can read that in the book on the chapter position. I have a certain type that I know exactly. It's always the same. There's always the same characteristics that I match best with. I get energy from it. The client is in most of the cases really happy with the coaching with me. It's not about me, it's about the relation. The client receives a lot of value out of it. The client starts to promote you because they are very happy. And all the match between the relational match between you and the client is best. They call it in psychiatry, that big research done there, they call it the A-specific factors. It's the therapeutic relationship that is the best and a kind of driver for improvement. And here in coaching as well, the coaching relationship is very, very important one. I know I did the same. A lot of coaches want to help everybody. But if you are quite a while already in the coaching business, you know that a certain type of people you can help better than others. So the whole system starts with defining who is this? What is his or her problem? What are his or her professional background? What is the position? How old is he or she? All the elements that are relevant. First, really describe it and even visualize it for yourself in order to build up the other levels on top of that. So that's the first one. I cannot go too much detail because we have a full training, almost a full day about position. I will just introduce it like this very briefly. The second step is what we call package. When you have this dream client, when you've positioned yourself to the dream client, what are the different, preferably three, I like three the most, and three different offers that are really attractive to this person. So not just one offer, like most coaches do, and like I did for 8 years as well, just one way of coaching one-on-one, and then every 3 or 4 weeks a session of 1.5 hours. No, a package with more elements than just the face-to-face coaching. I add in these packages, depending on the range, of course, you start with a cheaper one, and you have a middle average one, and then you have a very exclusive one. I call it bronze, silver, and gold. You can find that in the PDF. How I work that out, how does that look for my business, Top Mind. So it started with a cheaper variant, but if you go more exclusive, you add elements to it. So for the most exclusive one, I add the element of an app. I add the element of a retreat of 2 days with me. I add the element of a masterclass every now and then done by me or by a colleague. I add the element of 360 interviews in the beginning of the program. I do a physical test with those people. So the more exclusive, the more elements you add to the offer to make it really, really attractive, almost irresistible, that people say, wow, this is so much value, I want that. And then I also, that's a very smart one, we'll talk about that in the next level, I can do a different way of pricing. So I used to do only one-on-one coaching, then you have to do a hourly tariff, almost indispensable. But if you do this way of packaging, you can also ask a lump sum, or what I do, a monthly fee for the total package. So that's what we call packaging. 3 packages, bronze, silver, gold, and linked to a price, because that's the next level, is what we call price. This is an interesting one, because price is, by I think 90% of the coaches, I estimate, they use an hourly tariff. Well, hourly tariff is not, although we think it's very transparent, is not transparent in relation to the value that you add to the life and the work of the client. It does not matter how much time you spend with or on the client. It does not, is not relevant. If you go to a doctor, you rather be helped within 1 minute in the hospital than that you stay 3 days there. It's as much value for you to be cured in just a few seconds than it is to be cured in a couple of weeks. So time is absolutely not relevant here. And most people, time is scarce, so the faster they can get helped, they can get supported or can grow in a small period of your time, then that's more attractive. So the time that you spend on it is irrelevant. So I chose to do a different way of pricing. I do the monthly recurring almost memberships, you can call it. But you can also do a performance-based price, as a lot of my colleagues do as well. They have a performance-based price or a combination between the two, or some people do a lump sum for a certain period. That's fine too, for half a year or a year. But really, I would recommend you to investigate, at least to step out of the hourly tariffs, because that's not the way to communicate value, I would say, and it's a way to keep you poor. Because if you do an hourly tariff of 150 euros or dollars, then people think, oh, that's very expensive. But I mean, the value that you create is much more. And you can also calculate how many hours that you have to make a decent income. So pricing, get away from hourly tariffs. That's my idea. All right, I'll get back to the pyramid. Okay, then you have price, and the fourth one is what we call process. I'm going to do a brief here, otherwise we get too long, the little video. But the idea behind process is to make it really, really simple to give it to your client, and to make it really, really simple to deliver for yourself. So communicate it simply and deliver it simply. That costs you the least amount of time, and do it every time the same, so you can delegate it to someone else, or you can delegate it to a system that I just have explained. Because what I did for a long time, I worked with a lot of different clients and types of clients. I had very complicated processes, but then your head is always full about who you have to give what, at what time, how do we structure it, and when do we send the invoice, or has he already signed the contract? It's much too complicated. Keep a very simple process, and we have an exercise there to help you kind of visualize this process and then organize it that way that it gets very, very simple. So process. Then the next one is what we call proof. Yeah, that's the measuring the progress of your client. You can do that in various ways. I've got 3 different ways that I describe in the book. There are more ways as well, but find a way to really prove, to give yourself is important as well, and your client, the proof of the progress, the development throughout the programs. It will make you much more accountable, important. It will have your client motivate as long as he or she will improve. And it also motivates the one who pays the bills, who often are the companies, to have the idea of we do the right things, and there's a kind of a return on our investment. So proof is an important and attractive one, and that will, I will predict, be much, much more important in the future as well for coaching. So proof is something to work on. The 6th one is what we call pair. To go short there is, how do you relate to your clients throughout the whole lifetime of the relationship? So from the beginning, when you hardly don't know someone, to the end that the client has finished his coaching with you, how do you maintain the relationship over all in average? My experience is that we go too fast in the beginning. We are too pushy in the beginning, and we're too slow at the end. We don't follow up and have enough contacts at the end, and we have too many contacts, too much pushy in the beginning. Yeah, we go too fast in the beginning. There, I've worked out the whole journey, so to go say with a client, how can you do and what can you do and what phase of the relationship? Because if you do that well, then you really build a relationship where your client will help you promote yourself. So you don't have to do it yourself. But if you don't manage the relationship well, then you will lose a lot of opportunity to either have your client come back or have your client send someone else. So pairing or relationship building throughout the program is very important. All right, then the last but not the least, but that's the one that most people talk about, that's promotion or marketing and sales. In other words, marketing and sales is, I can tell you, very, very, very different than for other professions, because we sell ourselves as the product, which makes it different than if you sell a car or you sell a house. It is a different way of selling, marketing and sales. So some ways, some things work and a lot of things don't work for coaches. And I've worked that out in the PDF. You can see that also into the journey, what you can do as a promotion and marketing activity per stage in the life cycle of your client. And you have to be deliberate there to manage it and to make sure that you don't have to do too much yourself, because that's the purpose of the whole thing. We don't like sales and marketing too much. It's also not very credible if you sell yourself. So you can better have your clients do it for you, but therefore you have to manage the relationship really well, pairing, but also do the right things at the right time. So that's promotion, which is very interesting, which is a kind of a topic on itself for coaching, but it's very important. If you want to grow your business, you have to promote as well, but not before you have done the other levels. What I can recommend you to do is a tool, what we call the Coaching Clarity Calculator. Then you can find out which of the elements are developed the best and the worst in your case, in your business. And if you know that, then you know where to start working on. It's a Coaching Clarity Calculator. I make sure that I put a link below this video. It's free. You can do it in 10 minutes of time. You know where to focus on, but you also know the overall maturity of your business, which says you can be very mature as a coach, but you can be very unmature as a business. And it's interesting to know which stage of maturity you are, because also there it predicts where you have to work on and which you still have to wait working on, because you can do many things, but it's better to do the right things at the right time. And that's important to know, interesting to know at least, what the maturity stage of your business is in. All right. I hope this was of value to you, this short video. It was about 25 minutes. If you have any questions, then feel free to let me know. Send me an email. Let me know in the comments below, or just reply on the email when you get this. Really, really good and nice to do this. If you like it, I will do it again. Anyway, I will do it again anyway. But if you encourage me to do it, then I will do it more often. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next week, always the same time, same place. Thank you very much, AJ. Bye-bye.